Hi everybody, this is Sharon Oren from Maccabee Arms, and it is time for Education Friday. And today we're going to talk about something that is dear and close to my heart. We're going to talk about some Israeli firearms. As you know, I'm Israeli, born and raised, served in the Israeli military, and did some security forces stuff over there. And I thought it would be suitable to go over some items that are very highly talked about and highly regarded by many countries and many operators around the world. So today we're going to talk a bit about IMI, Israeli Military Industries, which today is more known as IWI, as Israeli Weapons Industries. They got privatized about 10 years ago or so, but there's nothing like the good old original stuff. So basically, after the war of 1948, the independence war of Israel, the Israelis decided they have to come up with their own design for a battle rifle that is Israeli made. It was a bit of pride, a bit of a need, and they came out with the Uzi. Everybody knows the Uzi. You know why? Because Uzi does it. So they came out in 1954. Mr. Uziel. Israel Uziel, I believe his name was, came up with the design of the Uzi with the prototype, and then it got into service, I think right about 55, 56, and it was actually in service up until I would say the 90s in its configuration of the Model A and the Model Bs. As you can see them over here. This is a Model A IMI Israeli Uzi. It has some upgrades from Fab Defense on the rail system, as you know, that was for the Israeli Special Forces. Open bolt mechanism. This is a fully automatic machine gun or submachine gun. Okay, the Uzi was a 9mm submachine guns. It was a great gun, great rate of fire. These guys were rated about 800-900 rounds per minute. They were considerably accurate for their size, and they were pretty heavy. So the recoil control was phenomenal. So you can stay on the target pretty good. The original configuration had a wooden solid stock. Then with time, they came out with their folding stock design, as you can see over here. Okay, for the folding stock design, so it was pretty easy to deploy. Here the safety over here and the grip safety, it will not function without it. It will have a semi, full auto, and safety positions. These guns were kind of made up until the 80s, but mostly used by the IDF combat units up until about I would say mid 70s when they were replaced, and mostly you would see them in guard duties on more of the, I would say, back bases, and a lot of lady soldiers will use them. In the 1980s, they redesigned the Uzi and came out with this puppy over here, with the Mini. I had the pleasure of using this toy quite a bit. So the Mini was a great design. Basically, they make everything a lot smaller. They added the fire rating to about 1,200 rounds per minute. If you've never shot the Mini Uzi, it is a blast. Very controllable. You can control the bursts really, really well, and what we call them, zip a target very easily when you go CQB, close quarter battles. So when you go into a house or wherever you need to go, it's very easy to control this gun and use it. It works very well suppressed. Same thing, has the same three options of safe, full auto, and semi-automatic. Once again, my toy over here does have the same rail system from Fab Defense if you need to put any accessories on it. And the Mini was in use from the 1980s until today, whether it's in special forces operations, security detail. Both the Uzi and the Mini were used in the US Secret Service. There are, I think, about 35 countries around the world who used the Uzi design and its family. It was manufactured also by FN, Fabriqué National, for a while. The Chinese tried to copy it with their UC9 back in the day. So overall, really great guns. They work phenomenally, very reliable, very easy to operate. To give us an example, to tear them apart, it's a very, very, very simple design of work. Then if you want to get out the barrel, press over here, ring comes out, and you're done. So it's, once again, very easy, very simple design, and works flawlessly. Actually, the old version, they used to have, there was such a light weight, so literally if the gun will fall down, it will start firing if it will fall on its back because of the open bolt mechanism. So what they will do is they'll actually open it up. In the old models it will stay backwards, and if you want to go and literally clear up a house. You'll put up a 50 rounder inside, throw it inside the house. It will hit the back plate and it will just start spraying around. And then you just need to go inside and clean the mess. But so like I said, very, very cool design of a firearm. Then the Israelis used also some other firearm platforms like the FNFAL during the 6-day war and the 73 war, heavy 308 NATO rifle, great guns. Then in 1973, in the Yom Kippur War, the Israelis started getting shipments of firearms from the United States, and the M16 came into the arena. The Israelis made some modifications to the M16s, which that's actually where the M4 came out, because we used to call them the saw. We used to take the M16s and basically saw the barrel and saw the back and put the 3-position stock on there to make them for our needs. Then in the same time, in the mid 60s to late 60s, the Israelis figure out, okay, NATO is moving from the 7.62 caliber to the 223 5.56 caliber. We need to adapt, and we need to make something that is made in our homeland that can fit our needs. We deal a lot with Israel is a small place, but we have a lot of sand, we have a lot of mountains, we have a lot of sea. We need something that will work reliably in all of those areas. And then when a gentleman named Israel Galili came out with the famous Galil, which was, like I said, designed in the 1960s, started coming into production around the, I would say, early 70s, really took off in the late 70s into the early 80s, into the 82, 78 Litani operation and the 82 Lebanon War. It was the main battle rifle of the IDF. Carried this one as well, and actually it's shorter version. It was a 5.56 caliber. It was a gas piston. What the Israelis did, they basically took the design of the Valmain, of the RK-62, which was a variant of the AK-47 with some with some improvements, and took the best from the Kalashnikov platform and the best from the M16 platform and put them together. So you got the reliability of an AK platform with a sighting system and accuracy of an M16. So it was a really cool design, very, very reliable, very rigidly built. Everything is all billet steel, solid pieces. The operation was pretty similar to the operation of the Kalashnikov, the AK-47, but they made a few modifications. One of them was your fire control will be ambidextrous. So whether you're lefty or righty, you can operate it, and you can operate when you're in position. So when you're already on target, I can operate my safety and fire, unlike with the AK families. Then they took the charging handle from the AK, which you basically had to operate over the top or from the side, and they put what we call the apple on top of it with its angle, so it made things a lot more easier to operate the gun versus going to reach around when you have a magazine inside. A better barrel than the M16 had or the AK. We talked a little bit about the piston system. They used this built-in bipod system on it, which had a very cool feature right over here. You can open the Coke bottle cans with it, or beer bottles, or whatever it is with it. So that's kind of cool. For those lonely guard duty nights, you can pop up a beer and open it up. We'll use the M-style bayonet from the M16 from the U.S. military. Another cool thing about this thing, which it was coolly built, but not when you need to carry it, was the magazines. The magazines were actually made from full stainless steel. They're a bit like a tank. You can literally drive a tank over them and nothing's going to happen to them. They were a 35-round magazine. But when you take a full steel magazine, full with 35-round magazine, it becomes very heavy with a very heavy firearm platform. So when we used to carry them with 8 of those in our vest, it became very, very heavy to schlep this thing around and go fight. Another cool feature of this gun was the folding stock and the carry handle. So you can literally carry it out like a PRK and take it around, or if you're deploying out of your vehicle, you can just deploy with it. So once again, a very, very cool design, very solid, very reliable, great firearm. They made it both in the 7.62 and the 308 caliber, and in the 5.56. The 308 mostly seen action in the United States. We hardly seen them in Israel. We had some marksmanship platforms that were used briefly in the Israeli military and testing. Another cool feature of the Galil that was in their front sights and the rear sights, they use the whole diameter for close quarters and long range, and in the front they did the same thing, plus an insert of tritium. So those sights over here used to have a little tritium insert for a night combat. which was like I said, something revolutionary in those days, plus the adjustability of the gas system. Very easy to operate, like the Kalashnikov. So you want to take it apart. It was actually very easy. Ta-da! And it's done. When you want to put it back together, so actually it's actually a lot easier than the Kalashnikov to take it with the Kalashnikov because of the design of the gas system. When you want to put it together, you put in the rail, press it in. Unlike the AK, a lot easier. You take your rail and put it over here. And those of you who ever worked on the Kalashnikov or in the AK-47 platforms, it's very hard to put to close them up. With these guys, super easy, So once again, a great platform by IMI. There were other variants to the Galil system as well. They came out with the shorter, what they call the Galilon, which was a shorter version of this firearm. It had a shorter receiver, a bit of a shorter receiver, and a shorter gas system and barrel. And then they came with the Micro, which is still being used in some SF units in Israel. And all of these guns have been very well abused and used all over the world, from South Africa to South America. But the Micro is definitely a cool platform. It's about yay big, or the SAR if you want to call it that way. Once again, a great design. And of course, from this design, the next design that the Israelis were working on was the Tavor, the T-821, and then the X-95 that's being used by the Israeli military these days, which is a bullpup design, which maybe we can talk about some other time. But actually, I can probably take a few minutes and talk about the Tavor. All I have right now in stock is a 9mm version of the Tavor, but we can go over the design of the firearm, which I think was very revolutionary. So the Tavor, the T-821, had some really cool features to it. Some people don't like it. I think they did a great job on those guns. Once again, this is the 9mm version used by some SWAT teams in Israel. It takes Colt 9mm magazine stick mags, so it's pretty easy. But the cool feature about the Tavor was, first of all, built-in flip-up sights. Totally built in there with a tritium insert over there. Then it's a gas piston, so reliability. The cool thing about the bullpup design is you get a full 16.25-inch barrel, hammer forged Israeli-made barrel, probably some of the best barrels made in the world, in this small compact design, which allows you to actually go close quarters. If you need to go around the corner, it's very easy to manipulate this firearm. So if I need to go around the corner to go into a house, I can do it pretty easily. But keeps this package very, very small. The other cool thing about this design was the Israelis made it so we have 7 points of contact with the firearm. So when I hold my firearm, like with an M4 and M16, I actually have multiple points of contact with the firearm at any given time. So if I need to go once again to close quarter battles, I have full grip on that firearm, and that firearm is going to be very hard to be taken away from me. The other cool thing about this firearm was, in its original design, that I can go and I can fight. And when I ran out of bullets, okay, I can just magazine out, magazine in, and release the bolt, doing all of that while I'm still on my target. I haven't moved my barrel away from my target. I'm still engaged into my target. So once again, a very, very fine design. Some love it, some hate it. I think they did a really great job on those guys. So once again, this is Sharon Oran. Today we talked about some Israeli-made firearms and some history over there. Make sure you tune into our YouTube channel. And if you have any question, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, look for Maccabee Arms. We're in Reno, Nevada, and ask away. We'll do our best to answer. And as always, stay safe, keep your booger finger off the bang bang switch, and God bless America.